Noct finally gets the resolve to not take the easy way out, combining all his devils into one new transformation that tips the scale in their favor.
Let's go!
Noct feels deep despair and guilt regarding his brother. After all, he was the cause of his death. If we go back to chapter 263, remember, Rill asked, why would the Dark Triad do something so dangerous and evil? When Noct remarked that scum who hurt others without a second thought for the sake of their own desire, who feel no sense of guilt as long as they themselves benefit. These are the paragons of that breed. What are they thinking? I don't care. I don't even want to understand it. Unjust evil. They're the type I hate the most. So in truth, he actually hates himself because he's that very definition. Noct stated he doesn't care if he dies in chapter 285 and continuously throughout the manga for the sins he has committed. Now what was that sin? Well, trying to surpass his limits. Noct and his brother belonged to a noble family of Faust. Morgan entered the Magic Knights to save people and was considered a role model loved by many, whilst Noct only used his magic for himself and was avoided by everyone for his lack of manners. Noct saw no reason to join the Magic Knights as he didn't feel he would get any enjoyment out of it, whilst Morgan was on the same squad as Yami. Morgan was basically the moral Jesus of the two, always doing the right thing, which explains why Noct remembered his brother when he saw how Asta interacts. Now when Noct turned 18 years old, his parents wished for him to carry the Faust family, and they revealed what their true practice was. The family were dedicated to study of devils, and they wanted Noct to continue on that legacy of being knee deep, or should I say balls deep, in knowledge of super satanic shit, bruh. Noct's temptation far outweighed his fear, as he saw this as something that was just as beautiful as it was scary, and the feelings of spite inside him were absolutely delighted. All his life, Noct had felt like an outcast, the one that had no place in the world, whilst Morgan fit in perfectly. But now, Noct finally felt like the one that belonged, whilst Morgan was the one that had no place there in the family. He felt ego, pride, jealousy, and many other sins. So whilst Morgan and Yami defended the kingdom from outside evil, Noct in almost no time at all had 4 contracts with devils. He was able to control their abilities shockingly well and was called a genius by his father. In time, Noct's ego had grown and he believed it was time to surpass his limit. He was offered a relic that had relation to Lucifugus, the very devil that is now inside Morgan as a paladin. But before Noct could use it, his brother demanded to stop before he made a mistake, lecturing the Faust family on sin. However, at the time, Noct only saw that as more of a reason to do it, as he loved the thrill of this practice. He fell into desire, just like the Dark Triad, for instance, when Dante lectured Asta about the nature of humanity. So, Noct put the relic on, summoning Lucifugus that ended up killing the entire Faust bloodline and Morgan. Like, bruh, talk about messing up real bad, like, whoopsie. All of this initially explained why Noct stated he hates the surpass your limits idea and the phrase of the Black Bulls. But at this point of time, Noct yelled out to God, asking him to save his brother. But he knew it was hopeless. No one would be saving him, having to live with his actions due to having ego, pride, and jealousy. Noct started to believe he was not worthy of anything, as Morgan told him that one of his dreams was to work with his twin brother. He wanted to save the world and make a difference by protecting the peace with light and dark together. However, Noct had not seen the light per se and didn't heed to his brother's words. That is why in chapter 375, Tabata has showcased Morgan using both magic attributes as a representation of what could have been. Now let's make this balls deep. The story of Faust is about the idea that humans, even with their flaws and mistakes, can still repent and return to good. Now in Black Clover, Noct's story ties into this theme game in a powerful way, because the devil, the name Lucifugus, means the one who flees the light. This matches what happens in Nox's life. Lucifugus kills Morgan, Nox's brother, who was like the light in his life. Morgan's name even means morning, symbolizing hope. This mirrors the original Faust story that Tabata was inspired from in real life, where the devil tempts Faust and leads him away from the good in himself. In Nox's case, Lucifugus killing Morgan is like the devil destroying the goodness in Faust. The chapter title, The Night Where the Morning Never Came, reflects this idea, showing how Nox lost the hope and light in his life when Morgan died. So with all of this PTSD, Nox declares it doesn't matter if it kills him. He unleashes all his magic power against his brother, where a huge constellation of attacks occur. Morgan gaslights Nox and states he can be set free with the liberation of death by becoming a paladin. But we then move to Yomi's new powerful transformation, where Lucius states he never thought he could have this level of strength. Now, of course, that's because of the Aster effect that changed the entire timeline. However, a huge bombshell is dropped. Morgan is stronger than Yomi and the Lucius clone? Like, this is a ridiculous statement for the power scaling. Even Ichika states, how did Nox lose so easily with Aster's anti-magic? Think about it. We know Aster, sharing his power, gave some of the Black Bulls a 2,000-fold increase in ability. Before, they all got bodied by Damnatio with ease at the same time. But after taking Aster's power, the likes of only Magna and Luck could defeat a Lucius clone. But the truth is, Nox is not using his true power, as he starts crying for the first time since Morgan's passing and feels too much guilt to kill again. Now, just as he's about to give up and die, Yomi swoops in to save the day yet again.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Yomi doesn't even have Aster's buff yet and is scaling to no diff one-shot a Lucius clone. That means in this new transformation, he would even be able to defeat Lucifero from the past and all the other captains. Think about it. Fuegoleon never beat the fraud allegations and is absolutely useless. Man don't even have Spirit Dive and did nothing with Salamander. Siscolion had to sacrifice squad members and surpass the limits to defeat Morris. Jack died. Nozel couldn't match Acia. It was Noel that did most of the work as a family. Like, I'm telling ya, Yomi is already a candidate to be a Wizard King, but he's the type that would never take the job anyway, as Tabata mentioned that Nozel would also be an option after Julius. But I'm gonna be honest, none of us care about that shit. We're just waiting for Aster to get the crown, you know what I'm saying? But Yomi's aura is now at an all-time high, boosting Nox's morale, stating they can't let Lucius defile Morgan's image by allowing such a saint kill innocent lives when he spent his entire life saving them. He reminds Nox that the real Morgan is dead, and Nox doesn't have to be all alone, as his captain is there for him to fight side by side. We witness a blitzing fight with Yomi, clashing swords, declaring his hatred for Lucius. Just like Aster, he can never forgive him for desecrating the dead, swiftly bringing us to chapter 376. Nox wakes up every day with despair, whilst trying to muster courage to help Yomi. He launches a dimension slash, but it's blocked by Lucifugus magic. Morgan glazes Lucius one last time for good measure that he will use light and dark, the magic of creation, to clear the way to an ideal world. Multiple light rays throw Yomi off guard as he resorts to his Black Moon spell to endure, creating a black hole to absorb Morgan's spell. In the end, light shines brightest in the dark. So this combination of magic that complements each other perfectly gives Morgan insane levels of power that are greater than a Lucius clone. He has no drawbacks, having light magic that is the fastest in the verse and dark magic that provides impregnable defense and hacks. So as things pursue, Nox sees the entire city being destroyed by the hands of of his brother. But Ichika doesn't want to be a useless woman like her father assumed her to be, and like in many other shonen, because Tabata knows how to write good female characters. So she states she doesn't want Yami Sukihiro to shoulder all the burden on his own like he did before, as Asta had told her that he's inspired everyone. So instead of being a tragic damsel in distress, she powers up whilst Yami is dodging every light attack, which he states is too fast. But just before he's about to lose, the Black Star arrives, which changes the trajectory of attacks to save the day. Yami acknowledges his sister's growth and does a combo spell called Black Heaven. This attack creates a black hole that pulls in all of Morgan's attacks, whilst Ichika's orbs change their trajectory to feed into it, kinda like a solar system. However, whilst this intense battle is occurring, Nacht finally gets the resolve to not take the easy way out, combining all his devils into one new transformation that tips the scale in their favor. Yami and Nacht call each other partners. After all, they are the captain and vice captain of the Black Bulls. Before, they were not unified, having their differences, but now the team has bonded together, pretty much being a callback to their childhood days. Eventually, all three of them combine their magic together, which results in Morgan acknowledging Nacht that in their Faust family, just like their parents said, he was the one with the greatest talent for magic. This ends up creating an insane panel where the attacks are flying everywhere. So although we wait long for new chapters, we have to give it to Tabata for making the art even better.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
But that's not all. The parallel Tabata creates here is awesome in the writing, because now Morgan is the one acting like Nacht of the past who made a mistake. He claims to surpass his limits here and now through selfish means on his own, deviating from his thoughts in the past of Yami that leads to his very defeat. After all, the brighter the light, the deeper the shadow it casts. As a result, Morgan is trapped in Nacht's shadow, with Asta's anti-magic helping, where he pierces him in the chest and says goodbye, shouldering the pain forever. But in this sad moment, it's time for you to watch something more happy. Can Asta beat Boruto? Who is stronger? Find out by clicking on the video.